And we are live.
Nice.
Welcome everybody who is currently joining. We're just going to wait, trying to wait a couple of minutes for all the attendees to join. For everybody who is already here, you should be able to see our first poll of the evening. As you can see, what does Black History Month mean to you? So there's four options: provide insight and raise awareness, celebrate Black history, arts and culture, recognize the past, evaluate the present, and plan the future, achieving a culturally and diverse community. So if everyone wants to select an answer there, and we'll reveal all of the data afterwards. Give it a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Right, let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to our first Women in DevOps live Q&A session in collaboration with our community partners, Coding Black Females. Today, we will be talking about Black History Month, proud to be in technology. What you can expect coming up is a 30 minutes of live Q&A. Really, really important. We'd love for everybody who's here or soon to join to be heavily involved in this. So in the Q&A section of the Zoom, please do submit your questions throughout. Introduce myself very briefly, not that I'm very important here today, and hopefully you won't hear too much of me, but I am Oliver Perry. I am our Irish ambassador for Women in DevOps, based over here in Dublin, Ireland. If anybody was expecting a much prettier face, unfortunately, Francesca, who was hosting, is not very well today, so I'm standing in last minute. Women in DevOps. If it's your first time joining Women in DevOps, if you're on the live stream or if you're watching this as a recording, Women in DevOps is here to drive and help change for equality in technology. We're here to address the gender DevOps gap to empower people and ensure everyone's voices are heard. I will be your host. Before I pass the mic to our wonderful chair, Cheryl, from Coding Black Females, and also Monet, who is a senior customer success manager at Goodfynd, I'm going to just allow, let me, before I pass to Ari, I was about to give you the mic far too soon there, Ari. I'm going to just give a little bit more of a bio on Women in DevOps for everybody who is new. Women in DevOps is a non-for-profit initiative devoted to empowering the people in the DevOps industry and improving the gender imbalance to strive to promote equality in technology. Our unique platform is used to not only amplify the voices of women, but all underrepresented groups within the technological community to break down those barriers and drive positive change throughout the tech world. We want to make this discussion as engaging as possible. So if you have any questions, like I said, for Cheryl or for Monet, please populate that through the Q&A. I will manage that. We'll wrap all them up at the end and make sure they get answered. If they don't get answered tonight, we'll make sure they get answered in our post content. Lastly, before we kick things off, please note this is being recorded and is being live streamed on YouTube, LinkedIn Live, and Twitter. All the content will be uploaded to our Women in DevOps YouTube channel, as always, where you can access this webinar or all previous webinars. So very, very importantly, I'm going to pass the mic to our wonderful platinum sponsor, JFrog, with the lovely Ari Waller, who is going to talk about JFrog, and also what we're all here for are what is the next giveaway prize.
Oh, thanks, Oliver. And by the way, I think Cheryl and Monet would both agree that you are pretty important, Oliver. So don't speak down to yourself, okay? You play an important role here.
I pretend.
Yeah, there you go. Hi, everybody. I'm Ari Waller, and I'm the Meetup event manager for JFrog, and we are so excited again to be a platinum sponsor for Women in DevOps. I'm very excited about the panel today, as I'm sure you are too, and it's going to be awesome. So I won't take up too much time today. I'll just share a little bit about who we are. JFrog, we are the DevOps software company known best for Artifactory, which is considered by many to be the gold standard for managing your artifacts and dependencies. We have a free version of Artifactory, especially for the meetup community, that you can opt in for today if you want to. You don't have to opt into it, and I'm opt in for it, but I'm going to share my screen really quick and show you what our giveaway is today. Today, in honor of such a special month, we are going to have a raffle for a Nintendo Switch Lite, specifically for attendees here today. Now, you can enter with the QR code or the bit.ly link that you see, and I'm also going to drop that in the chat. When you enter, you'll have the opportunity to opt in and receive an email about the JFrog free cloud software that I mentioned to you. A winner is going to be selected within 2 business days, and we will share the name of the lucky winner with your whole community once they have formally accepted the prize. There's corporate compliance for you, but it's important. And we will certainly share the news with the world. So again, without any further ado, thank you, Oliver, and the whole Women in DevOps team, and very, very excited about today's panel. I'll drop this in the chat, and looking forward to today.
Thank you, sir. And I have scanned the code, and I'm in. Good. Thank you so much, Ari, and pleasure to see you as always. So, more importantly, now I'm handing over to our lovely community partners, Coding Black Females, to kick off the Q&A session. Cheryl, over to you. See you in 30 minutes.
Thank you so much, Oliver. So, like Oliver said, I'm Cheryl Obiakpani. I'm actually the program manager for Coding Black Females. So before we start, I just wanted to kind of talk about who Coding Black Females are, and then we'll jump into our Q&A with Monet. Monet is actually one of our community members. So Coding Black Females was established in 2017 to address the underrepresentation of women in tech. Our founder, Charlene Hunter, literally just started off as a little meetup group, and it's now kind of expanded to 3,000, 4,000 plus members. So it's really grown in a very short time. So our mission is generally just to grow the community of Black women in software development and other technical roles. And our community members range from entry level, people who've just literally just completed a boot camp and just wanted the community to be involved in and to learn and stuff. And we have, so entry level up to executive level. And yeah, we just wanted to remove the barriers to entry to Black women into the tech industry and help them progress. Like I said, we have career changers, we have entrepreneurs, we have founders within our community. And we work with partners like Women in DevOps to produce workshops, seminars, courses, and boot camps, just so, you know, Black women within the industry can bond, learn, and grow together. So yeah, so we're always very keen to work with partners such as Women in DevOps to just talk and share ideas and stuff like that. So our Q&A today is really just to hear from Monet, who, like I said, is one of our community members. She is, I will just start with, so Monet, do you want to introduce yourself and just tell us about your role, your place of work, and where you are in the industry?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm Monet. My pronouns are she, them, queen, or Q for short. And I'm a senior customer success manager at Goodfynd. I also assist them with sales, development, and design as well. But since I came in with so much experience, over 12 years of experience in customer success and customer service, I'm actually helping them build their customer success team from the ground up. So that's very fulfilling for me as well. And yes, that's pretty much about it for right now. That's what I'm doing right now when it comes to Goodfynd and assisting them with building up their customer success team. But like I said, I'm also passionate about design and development. So I do dibble and dabble in those teams too.
Okay, that's great. I love that, queen. Like,
Thank you.
Use that. So yeah, so just talk about how you got into, how did you get into technology? I know you said you previously came from like customer service background, or just, so how did you transition from that into technology?
So I have always had a love for technology, like all the way back to when we had MySpace profiles and you had to like go in and code your profile so that certain things would happen on your profile. You could create certain movement. So I was
Mhm.
doing it all the way back then, but what and really got me into technology the past few years was I ended up losing my job during the pandemic,
Okay.
and I just confided in my husband, just letting him know, like, I just feel so, I'm just tired, like I'm tired of working these dead end jobs. I want to do something different. I want to make an impact and feel worthy at my job, feel like I'm actually impacting in some way.
Mm.
So I ended up taking time to take a full stack development boot camp, and I ended
Okay.
up conducting a lot of research on like rebranding yourself online and transitioning your career. And
Mm.
then I ended up like just taking the time to slide into a lot of recruiters' DMs, and just put myself out there really, because what people see on your resume and on your portfolio is completely different from what you can tell them and what you can share. So I would always
Mm.
just hit them up and say, hey, if you need me to hop on a call, or you need me to do a quick demo for you for my portfolio, it's just little things like that that helps open that door. But then I ended up landing the role with Goodfynd, and my CEO, she's just amazing. I had an interview with her, and she's a Black woman as well, and it was one of the warmest interviews I've ever been a part of. And she just saw my worth, saw my background, and just saw how I could really make a great impact where they were in their startup.
Mm. No, I like that. I remember um, when I was applying for this role, and that just having that warm person in front of you makes it, so so great. Makes the
Yeah.
interview comfortable. So, then you were saying about obviously you were transitioning from you've done a boot camp, done a full stack. So how important would you say like your transferable skills from like your customer service background into technology, or just any kind of transferable skills from what what skills you developed outside of work or inside?
Yes, that is a great question. So, soft skills are very, very important, especially when it comes to transitioning to technology, because some people who are in technology don't have that background of customer success, or they've done technology all their lives. So if
Mm.
you have that ability to, like alter your communication styles, that is something that is going to make you a unicorn and set you apart from that other candidate that probably has a similar profile to you, and you're like a neck and neck in the running to land the position. If you have some soft skills underneath of your in your
Mm.
background, that's definitely going to help, because it's important to not only be tech savvy, but you also have to know how to communicate that to people all the way up on the C-suite level, and then people all the way down who are just tech illiterate. So that's definitely important.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's great. And you say being authentic. I can't even say that word. Do you feel that's important in technology? Like, just being yourself and, like,
Yes, I completely agree. You have to be yourself. You have to show up as your full self, because there's diversity in your thoughts, and we definitely need that, especially in technology. That breeds innovation. That diversity breeds innovation, and you have to have your own thoughts and your own voice so you can contribute to that, because if we're all just agreeing on the same thing, like, we would never ascend to greater heights. So yeah,
that's
you definitely have to
true.
be authentic and show up as yourself.
Okay, great. No, I totally agree with that. Definitely. Do you sometimes experience that imposter syndrome? Because I know from my background isn't very techy, and I'm now like trying to get into like encoding Black females, and I'm trying to like
Mhm.
some of the technical terms they use aren't exactly my forte.
Yes, I completely understand. I mean, like, who hasn't really experienced imposter syndrome? Like, it happens, but because we've all heard it. Like, especially when I was looking for a job, I lost my job in the pandemic when I lost my job, it was over a year ago. It took me a year and a half to land the company that I'm with now.
Oh,
So I
wow.
had to go through a lot of those no's, a lot of those, you're just not good enough. We're looking for some more experience, all of
Mm,
that. But like I had to really just come with inside myself and just take a moment to be like, look, I am capable of doing something great and I actually have the passion to contribute. So I'm
yeah.
going to keep going no matter what. And then all those no's and all that stuff, it just turned into like, oh, well, you're lost,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I know you're losing out.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So that's you proud to be in technology. So how now let's move on to like proud to be a Black woman, proud to be part of the Black community. Can we just let's dive into that? Let's talk about some of those. Obviously, Black Lives Matter was last year, like death of George Floyd. It happened during the pandemic, but that was like another big thing that happened last year, and we can't really just forget about that. So how do we keep up the momentum of the Black Lives Matter movement? How do you feel we could do that?
Absolutely. I love that question. So the way I think about it is I'm Black year round. So I feel like our intentions to like dismantle those systems which intentionally keep us oppressed should be
Mm,
year round. We should be making those efforts to to impact our community in some way, because we shouldn't just wait to when there's an incident.
mm,
And then we can always be in more of a proactive environment and not being so reactive. And then
yeah,
you can teach your youth, because that history is so important, so that they know from the ground up they have a strong foundation. And we're not taught that in school a lot of our Black
mm,
history, and that's very important. So it definitely has to be taught. Knowledge is power.
mm,
And I feel like it's very important that we try and be on the offense more than the defense when it comes to, engaging in those Black Lives Matter movements. But if you make it a year-round effort, then it won't
exactly.
just feel like a movement.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I know. I love the fact that you said we're Black all year round and everything, and
Yeah, I'm just not Black for a movement. Like I'm Black year-round.
exactly, yeah.
Hmm.
And also, you mentioned a bit of your current role,
Hmm.
and the your CEO who interviewed you, and
Yeah.
she's also Black. So do you think maybe the lack of representation previously has that impacted your career so far, or like previously, or?
Yeah. So like remember how I talked about rebranding online?
Mm,
My first name, I go by my middle name, which is Monet, but my first name, I get a lot of, I want to say it looks like, like things like that. And I'm not saying you have to like go out there and like change your name, but it makes it
mm.
more difficult if your name is not like a Mike, a Jeff, a Jake, a Joe, a Mark. I'm just being honest.
I love that
So
all male, all
yes,
male.
yeah, but that's just the way it is. So I was like,
Yeah,
no, like I'm gonna focus on rebranding myself. I'm gonna focus on playing this a little bit differently, because for other people, that's what they're doing. They're playing the game, they're figuring it out. So that's what I
mm,
focused on really doing. And then just making sure that I connect with people in tech as well that look like me. Because once I met my CEO and stuff, I'm like, there has to be other passionate Black people that are out here winning that I need to
yeah,
connect with, because social media and just the news in general, they don't promote those images to us. They make it
mm,
seem like you can only be a Jake, a Jeff, or a Joe, but there are Black women out here winning, and we all need to connect with each other and love on each other.
yes, yeah. I think that's definitely what Coding Black Female is all about. So how do you think we could improve representation in technology? I mean, we have some of our ideas, but it's always good to
Right.
yeah.
I would say putting yourself out there, trying new
Mm,
things, traveling more. I've recently been able to go to a lot more networking events, which has
okay.
definitely helped. With the pandemic and everything, it's been difficult, but you can still make an effort virtually to meet up with
Mm.
other people with like minds like you. And then it's like it's over from there. You'll build a relationship virtually and then you'll eventually meet.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's when I joined Coding Black Females, I was thinking, oh, it's only going to be a small community. But when you think about there are 5,000, I think but it's global as well. You know, we get
Yes.
people from joining like yourself from the States, but we'll get lots of people from Africa, and you know, just everyone just wants to, you know, be in that community. So it's great to. Well, I know there's so many more Black females, so we definitely there. We just need to let people know.
Yes.
You know. Yeah,
Yell it from the rooftop.
That's great. Definitely. Okay. How have you owned your own narrative in your career? How would you say that? How have you?
I would say I've been in those spaces where I've been the only Black woman in the room. I've been the only woman in the room. And instead of becoming uncomfortable, I decided to embrace it. And it's just little things like turning your camera on and like showing up in company meetings, because everyone has their cameras off and they're muted. But sometimes I just turn my camera on, and even if I'm continuing to work, at least I'm one of those that's setting apart from everyone else, you know, and putting that effort forward.
Okay. I don't like putting my camera on.
Yeah, no one does. But the funny thing is that in my background, I used to work a position where it was mandatory for you to have your camera on. Okay. So now that I have a choice, I'm like, I'm going to do it when I want to and then take it off, you know, when I don't want to. But just going from that experience, it makes me a lot more comfortable to turn my camera on. Because I'm like, no one's micromanaging me to turn my camera on now. So yeah, let's turn the cameras on.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Sorry. Next. Okay. So have you had any role models, would you say, that in technology or just?
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say all of the Black women that I see on social media, like Twitter alone, there's so many great Black women out there that I've connected with. I've pretty much wiped my Twitter feed of anything that's not like technology based and, you know, diversity and tech based, and it's all Black women just living their best life and making a great impact in tech.
So lots of role models and everything.
Yeah.
So we always say, like, you know, we need more role models in technology, but what else can an organization do to change or improve representation, do you think?
So that is a very great question. I would recommend, since I actually volunteer for Trabaja, which is a community-based talent marketplace, they offer premier tech talent. So if you're looking to diversify your workforce, then you would definitely need to link up with me, like on LinkedIn or Twitter. I'm Q the Dev, so QUETHEDEV. And any of the organizations who are looking to diversify any of their roles and functions, we can definitely help you with that, because we provide you with diverse talent marketplace, really, because so often I just hear, you know, where we don't have the diverse talent pool to choose from. But it's going to be a lot easier when you have communities and companies like Trabaja that actually offering diverse tech talent and just filling that gap that they claim that they're having trouble filling.
Yeah, so working with organizations that probably just are very specific. So like yours, Trabaja. I think we'll add that into the link. So if anybody is listening and wants to,
I'll send you that.
Find you later.
Yes, I'll send it as well in the chat.
Okay. So just going back, obviously, this Black History Month. It's Black History Month in the UK. I think America's Black History Month. When is that? Is that earlier on in the year?
It's in February.
February, yeah. Okay. So, but again, like, it's more than a month-long celebration. It's like like you said, our daily reality. We're Black every day of the year. Yeah. So what do you think other individuals can do beyond Black History Month, like other communities, or just to like educate themselves on it, on our experiences 24/7, really?
Right, absolutely. I was going to say I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. Like it starts at your youth. Like if you were already given that foundation of that your Black narrative and how important it is for you to show up and be Black and represent and be proud in it, then that would definitely help you make it a year-round thing. And just with me, I make sure that my visuals are people that I can look up to, people that are some people that I like role models and stuff like that. A lot of Black figures and a lot of Black figures that you can look up to, and just making sure that you're investing in like books and different materials that will actually help you gain knowledge when it comes to our history, because having that foundation of the history really is what is going to create that curiosity that you want to have every single day, because it's something that I'm constantly looking for. I'm constantly looking for, Black podcasts. I'm constantly looking for Black people I can follow on Twitter. I'm just making sure that I'm cultivating a space that makes me want to invest in being Black and seeing what else is out there that I can invest in.
Great. Great. You mentioned it about the youth. And so what advice would you give to your younger self? Like, what do you wish someone had told you when you were younger?
Just like, how long do I have to talk to myself? Is it just like a 30-second clip, or like, I would definitely tell myself to invest in yourself now, fuel all of your passions, don't listen to any of the naysayers, and don't settle. You don't have to settle. Abundance is your birthright. And I believe that's pretty much it. And then I would say, hey, there's a pandemic coming. Like, just make sure.
Prepare yourself. Get all your toilet paper.
Stock up now, save up now, invest in the stock now, stuff like that.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's so good. No, that's great. So just a quick question for me, because I'm not techie, and I know some people aren't techie. I came from a community development background. And so how would you advise someone like me to transfer into tech, like, properly?
I would take a good look at your resume and then hone in on those transferable skills, because when I was talking about trying to figure out how to transition and then rebranding myself online, I took the time to do a lot of research into resumes and how I can set myself apart from the other candidates. And it was really looking at those soft skills and then comparing it to what is needed in the industry. So if you have a soft skill that relates to whatever you're trying to transition into, then you can highlight that on your resume and then make that impact. Just put yourself out there, connect with recruiters, because a lot of the people who are in positions that I look at, like, I'm always asking, like, how did you, get this position? And majority of the time it's because they knew someone. It wasn't like, they applied and got through and fought, and it was because they knew someone.
Oh, okay.
It's
always who you know, isn't it?
Yes, and that comes with putting yourself out there, just connecting with people.
Okay, great. That is great. Thank you for that. That's all the questions I have. So I think we're going to go to the audience to see if they have any questions for you, Monet. We'll kind of back to Oliver.
Yeah, they do indeed. Now let me get this right. I think a lot of our questions have come from our live streams, which is brilliant. So I'm going to do these in chronological order they were asked, Monet, to make it simple for me, if that's okay. So the first question we had from the audience was, how can non-Black people practice genuine allyship to support the Black community?
That is a great question. I would say it's really about your intention. And I've had people who have asked that question before, but they have a grandfather that is someone that is not an ally. Like, it starts at home. So if your grandfather is not an ally, like, try and figure out why not, and then try and project that on to everyone else, like, and making sure that you're pretty much making sure that you are in a space at home as well that you can project out to the world, because sometimes it's at home and you got to focus on home first. I definitely would do that first.
Yeah. Brilliant, thank you. Next question is focus on leadership. Really, what is your responsibility, or what is the responsibility of a Black leader?
That's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, I would say to be a role model and someone that someone can look up to, especially the fellow Black women or Black men or whatever in your life. Because when I look at my CEO, I look at her as a leader. I look at someone who's no nonsense. I look at someone who is going to get the job done. I look at someone who's going to fight past her being tired, who's going to show up. It's things like that, and being a great role model.
Brilliant. Next question: what more could be done? This is the golden question, I guess. What more could be done to make the tech industry specifically more inclusive? And is there anything missing at the moment?
Yes, I would say they need to focus on diversifying their employees, their talent pool that they're pulling from, because it's so often being told, we don't have any candidates to choose from that are diverse. But that's why you reach out to companies like I mentioned earlier, like Trabaja, who actually host an entire hiring event for you, offer you all of this diverse tech talent on a pedestal, and then that's pretty much it. So there's really no excuse for any company to say, like, we can't do it. I don't know where we're going to get the talent from. Just invest in it. Look out for companies who have that as a mission.
Yeah, definitely have to. Yeah, it's definitely it has to be a proactive step, right? Like you say, they're there. You're proof of they're there. Those communities are there, but you definitely have to be proactive in finding them. Last question I think I have here is, what advice would you give to a young Black woman who wants to enter the tech industry, but may be put off by the lack of representation?
Listen, it won't be the only time that you will be not represented. Like, you have to push past that. You can't let that be the only thing that is holding you back, because you're going to be in rooms where you just may be the only woman there. You may be the only Black woman there. And we need you to push past that. There's someone waiting on you to develop whatever it is that you'll do great in tech and flourish after that. Like, we need you, get past it, let's do this. It's as simple as that.
Amazing. I think let's leave it there. Let's make that the final statement, Monet. Thank you ever so much.
Right, like
mic drop. Yeah. Well, that'll be the thumbnail snippet for the for the marketing after. Thank you so much. So I'm just, before I round up, I think we're going to do one last exit poll. I think I need the lovely Lucy to click a button. Here we go. So please answer where necessary. The last poll of the evening will be, how can we improve the representation of underrepresented groups, specifically within technology? So early encouragement is key. Is it learning from role models, embracing diverse skill sets, or challenging stereotypes? So please vote there, and we will share our results afterwards. And yeah, that's it. That's it from me, folks. Thank you so much, Cheryl and Monet specifically, and everybody in the audience here on Zoom or wherever you're watching on a live stream. Thank you for your morning, evening, or lunchtime. It's been very interesting. I know my camera is off just to give you the spotlight, ladies, but I was very much intently listening, and thank you for your insight. And I hope, if it's Coding Black Females or if it's Women in DevOps, we get to see everybody on the next webinar. So thank you, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Take care. Bye. 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 Bye.